cheese. Hi, my name is Grace, and welcome back to my space. Whew, I have not said that in so long. And honestly, I didn't think I was gonna say that again. And then, you know, a very wonderful friend reminded me that, like, this is kind of my space. It's kind of my safe space. This is my safe space. That's literally why I titled it that. And you're probably wondering why I left. Well, I'll tell you. My life fell apart in a way that, looking back on it, I am so grateful for. So long story short, the show I was on got canceled. We got hit with the writer's strike that lasted collectively like 7 months. Then I had to move back in with my parents. My ex broke up with me the day I had to move back in with my parents. And I just kind of hit this rock bottom place. And after 3 months, I was like back in New York, and I had moved in with my sister, which was like incredible. But I hit that place, and every time I thought I'd get back in front of the camera, here, specifically here, not so much in terms of my career. Every time I got in front of this camera, which is like my truest, rawest form, right? I couldn't. I did not feel myself. I felt like I was successfully phoning it in all these other places. But here I had a lot of growing to do so that I could I didn't have to phone it in my space. So for a long time, I really felt that. And I would record a video and then delete it, and then record a video and then delete it. And then I was just kind of like, I feel like I'm rushing towards the stage in life where I can perform being that everything's okay. By the way, I'm going to do my makeup because, like I said, to go out. So if I don't look at you and I look somewhere else, please, it's because there's mirrors and I have to do my makeup. Sorry, but I'm here. We're here together. I realized I was like rushing towards like needing to show everybody that like I'm good, and like, you know, low points don't affect me, and I completely know what the heck I'm doing with my life. And here's how you can too, my loyal 40 viewers. And I realized how inauthentic that was, and not even from like a online standpoint, but literally to me, because I was like, oh, you're doing that so you don't actually have to do the work, the growth and the work that's gonna come with it. And so I logged off. Not only did I fully log off of here, which it's like not that surprising because I have been known to dip out for long periods of time, sorry. But I just kind of logged off most things. I only really posted on any social media when it was absolutely necessary, or when it was like some sort of like work event or something like that. I was like, I need to stop worrying about other people thinking that I'm doing really great, and I need to start worrying about doing really great. And so in return, I spent this year, 2024, as I'm sure you've all heard from Denzel Washington, in the year of learning so much about myself, learning so much about what it means to be alive. Everything that I have to say now is coming from a more genuine, real place. And the light that I feel within feels real again. It's not to perform positivity, because there's no such thing as a perfect person, nor is my life anywhere near that. But I think back on kind of the shell of a person that I was becoming during that time, leading up to the great fall, as I like to call it. Think of the shell of a person I was becoming when all of that was going down, and then, you know, the great fall of itself. And I think I'm like, oh my God, that girl was so worried about the wrong things. And so I'm here to tell you about all the right things that, you know, I now worry about a little bit more. All in all, that is just to say, sit down and enjoy as I do my makeup and I catch you up on what this year has been. Okay? No crazy thesis, all right? I was long-winded. That's all I'm here to do. All right. Oh, first things first. I think if you had your eyes, nose, ears, toes to any sort of newspaper, you know that last year, the acting community as a collective really went through it, right? Not just actors, writers, industry. I think last year was the first time that as an industry whole, everybody was really honest about how hard the game is. And everybody was really honest about how unfair the game is. And everybody was really honest about like, we are barely holding afloat, right? Then cue all the strikes that followed. And since then, you know, the industry is going to go through flux naturally, because we essentially had like an economic stoppage for majority of an entire year. And I always say a year because prior to all the strike stuff that everybody else was privy to, they had already started shutting shit down and canceling shows. You know what I mean? And doing all that kind of stuff, right? And since then, the industry as a collective has been really going through it. And I don't say that for me. I say that to all my friends who are still in this industry, or anybody who may still be in this industry, or anybody who may be interested in this industry. The industry as a collective is not in a good place right now. First lesson I learned this year is take that responsibility off your shoulders. Take that responsibility off your shoulders. You are doing your absolute best. You not being talented enough is not why things are not popping off. You not being whatever enough is not why things are not popping off. Now, because the industry is going through a bad time, are there certain erasures that are going on when it comes on screen and where the girls are and all that stuff? Absolutely. But take that responsibility off your shoulders as well. Take that weight off of your shoulders. And remember that the thing we signed up for in pursuing this absolutely insane industry is not always a talent show, or is it like, you know, a merit, like award merit system. It's a survival game. The thing that you have to remind yourself is that the key to making it, especially in entertainment, is surviving and just in holding on. In this transitionary time, in this transitionary year, the best thing you can do for yourself is literally just hold on. Is to take that weight that like, oh my gosh, nothing's working out and it's because I'm not whatever enough. No, it's slow for everybody. It's slow for everybody. It will pick. And the funny thing is I always tell people this. I'm like, we work in the oldest industry of all time, right? Like, they were doing oral storytelling like back way back in the day, right? We exist in the oldest industry of all time. So with that being true and that being what it is, there's a little bit of like this idea that like, oh, the industry is dead and blah, 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 blah. And like, that's just not true, because entertainment doesn't go away. It evolves, but doesn't go away. So we're in a moment of evolution, and that sucks. I won't even sit here and pretend that feels good. It has been very difficult. But in that time period, I have survived it by taking away some of that responsibility off of my shoulder by telling myself it is not something where it's like, oh, I'm not doing this enough, or I'm not doing this enough. I'm taking all of that weight off of my shoulder. If you watch my videos long enough, you know, like I'm doing my makeup the exact opposite of how I normally do it. But it's only because I'm not really wearing foundations. I mean, I'm really wearing eyeshadow like that, so I don't really care. Just want to make it very clear, if I was wearing an eyeshadow look like a cut crease or something, this would be sacrilegious to what I stand by. You always start with eyeshadow when you're gonna do something blue or, you know, green or whatever. But this is gonna be very natural, okay? Very natural, very me. Anyways, I took that responsibility off my shoulder. And that meant this year I've spent it trying to control the only thing I can control. That is my output. So when it comes to auditioning and all of that stuff, reminding myself that like, there are things you can control in that I can't control when I get booked. I can't control who books me in terms of auditioning and all that kind of stuff, right? However, I can control my output, as in when a casting director gets a tape from me, it's never gonna falter. It's never gonna slip. It's never gonna be anything but 100%. What they do with that is then on them. But as long as I know I did my best, I did my best. And then I invest whatever other time I have into surviving in other ways. Like I kind of released myself from the idea that like, oh, like this next tape I get, I'm only working this hard because I know I'm gonna book it. Because all of this, the idea that you need to release, kind of ties into the next thing I learned, which is the number one thing required especially as an actor building in their career, starting in their career, is delusion, and hear me out. Some of you may be like, oh girl, I've been through that, been delusional, and good on ya, right? Every single time you audition, you need to audition with the mindset that I am probably not gonna get this. I'm probably not gonna get this. This is probably not gonna go exactly how I think or how I want. And you need to audition with the spirit that it is 100%, like full investment, full everything, knowing it probably will not go your way. That's delusion. And that is what will take you here, right? Like, we all watch Inside Out 2. And if you haven't, come on now. We all watch Inside Out 2. And I always harken back to that moment where Anger tried to like buck on Joy, like, you know, you're sounding real delusional right now. And she was like, well, yes, because do you know what it is required? Do you know what constant positivity is? It's delusion. In order to maintain a mindset of, you know what, I'm gonna make it one day, you have to be delusional. That's gonna mean that I have to approach literally all of these days in between with the same level of like, yep, this project is mine, knowing this project is sure is not. So every time I send in an audition, I'm giving you 100%. I'm doing it anyways. I know the average YA is not booking a girl who looks like me. I say average YA because, you know, I managed to find one of the 10% that would. But I know the average YA is not doing that. I'm auditioning anyways. And I'm auditioning with everything in me anyways, knowing that I am not the demographic they're looking for. I'm still gonna come in the room and stand there. It's giving Mike from Suits. Yes, I'm gonna take this job with no degree. No, not even like a half degree, no degree. I'm gonna take this job. That's what you have to do. That's how you have to approach it in order to get what you want in this career. I had a mentor tell me recently, she's like, knowing everything that you know and how difficult it is and still choosing to pursue it with the same level of intentionality is courageous. And in this game, people are so always looking for confidence, and what they really need is courage. And there's a reason why Joy, who's the only one who can access delusion, is the antithesis to anxiety. Because it's your anxiety who's like, gets dejected, gets rejected, and is like, nah, like, we can't do this. And to be fair to anxiety, in the movie as well, Shawty's just trying to protect you. But sometimes anxiety will protect you at a good time. You know what I mean? There's this sense of responsibility everybody's taking on that is depleting you. Every audition, you feel like it's because I'm not good enough. It's because I'm not good enough. It's because I'm not good enough. Baby, you are a rose. And that day when you went into that audition, the casting director was looking for lilies, and you stepped in a stunning rose. There's nothing wrong with that. Because every room you step in, there will come a day when they're looking for roses. Do not take responsibility, and do not then therefore try to cut down your flower before the man looking for roses can cast you. The woman looking for roses can cast you because you just assume, oh, nobody wants this, or I will never be good enough. Thing I learned this year, because I had this feeling when I moved back into my parents' like, value gone. The thing that made me valuable was this successful entity that I built up into being. And now I'm no longer her. I'm not that girl anymore. So nobody will care about me. My value is gone. And I went home and I walked around the flowers in my mom's garden, literally. And I realized that like, my value is me. I'm my value. You can't take away my value because this is me. It's all in me. So it's not that my quote unquote value is gone. I'm actually starting to realize, and I've now learned to not judge my value solely on whatever public thing I'm doing, success-wise or otherwise. You know what I mean? So that was a big lesson this year. And it is the thing that continues to take me through. And there are some days where that lesson rings in my ear and I'm not listening. That don't mean I wasn't taught it. You know, sometimes you fall asleep in class. And I just need to, you know, wait for the sunrise to learn the lesson again and be reminded. Next thing I did this year, I learned how to swim. Now, am I going to claim to be Michaela Phelps? No. And honestly, I need to, in the new year, I need to sign up and like, you know, get back in the pool or whatever. But all my friends know me and they know my ability to swim. Literally, I literally could not float. Can't float, can't kick my feet. I'm talking in 4 feet of water. I do not know how to lay on my stomach in no damn pool. Like, that's how it is. I can't wade, I can't swim, I can't do nothing. So this year, I said, girl, you're waiting and asking for permission for things you do not need to wait and ask for permission for. And so me and my sister, we signed up to learn how to swim. I was doing it because for my entire life, I waited for somebody to teach me or waited for somebody to help me do it. And then I got to a certain age where I was like, oh, I guess I'll just never have that skill. And I just decided that, like, if you don't do something or you don't accomplish something by this certain age or this certain phase in your life, you're never going to accomplish it. So boom, that's it. Oh, I didn't learn how to swim as a kid like everybody else did. I'll never know how to swim, and then that will just be it. And I kept thinking this year, I was like, oh man, I put so many limits on what I can do, who I can be. I know I said I wasn't doing any eyeshadow, but I had to do the shimmer lid, and it's so pretty. But because it's like translucent, I don't really mind that the sparkles are getting over all of my face. But also, let this be a lesson. This is why you don't do your face first, because there's sparkles all over, everywhere. Thankfully, they're translucent sparkles, so they are not impacting anything. And now I just kind of glow from all over. But you see why I do my makeup in the order I do it? Like, this whole time, I'm like being like, oh, I didn't do this then, so that's never gonna happen. And that's also how I'm treating my life, by the way. I'm like, oh, by the age of 26, I was supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And here I was 26, and not only was I not at X, Y, and Z, I might not have been at LMNOP. You know what I mean? And now I'm bullying myself because of it, rather than just being like, are you alive? You are currently doing the longest thing you will ever do, being alive. So while you are here, why not? Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna jump me? And nobody did. I got in the pool. I learned how to swim. I gave myself freedom in the one place I had none. And I taught myself that at any point, I am allowed to give myself freedom in places in which I do not feel as though I have any. Lesson number 3? Lesson number 3. Lesson number 4. Hey now, I'm gonna talk to my chocolate girlies. Hey ladies. I know you're all feeling it. It's a little quiet on the Western front in terms of seeing ourselves anywhere, and it feels like people getting a little bit too comfortable talking about us any old way. And it feels like society, which has always been colorist, has never felt more comfortable living that colorism. But I tell y'all, I have a glitter fleck right there that wouldn't be there if I had did my eyeshadow first. Learn from this. Anyways, back to my sisters. I see you, and you are so beautiful. In the same way I am so beautiful. Society for so long has decided that they get to create the narrative of what somebody with rich melanin as a woman, what that looks like and what that means. And there are times where we try to fit that narrative, and there's times where we try to reject that narrative, and there's times where we try to do everything in between. And I know why. It's to feel loved. It's to feel wanted. It's to feel protected and seen. It's to feel deserving. It's to feel youthful. It's to feel lively. It's to feel strong, but it is also to feel weak. It is to feel human. And it can sometimes feel like, am I even real when there's all this erasure going on? The same thing I had to tell myself as an actor is what I had to tell myself as a person, and is what I'm here to tell y'all. My gosh, you are more than enough. You are so beautiful. There's no creature on this planet like you, therefore can be compared to you. And if you know what I'm saying. Straighten your back out a little bit. You know what I mean? Straighten your back out a little bit. And do not feel like you gotta justify shit to anybody. You don't gotta justify why you wear wigs. You don't gotta justify why you don't. You don't gotta justify why something makes you feel vulnerable. You don't got to justify those moments. You don't have to justify your emotions. You owe yourself kindness before you owe the world it. And the most important thing, even if the world does not want to acknowledge your beauty because they're so intimidated by it, that does not mean it's not there, babe. It's frustrating to feel as though everybody else can do all these things that you your entire life were condemned for. I know that. But just remember that we see each other. We see each other. And as long as we see each other, we will never be invisible. How you choose to perceive me as a dark-skinned woman in this world is actually not my business. It is rather your regret. You are missing out. And to all of my, potentially fellow dark skinned actresses, because I don't actually know how many there are of you. We do acknowledge that there's 40 people who watch the show, this channel. And I've been gone a year, so we really may be down to 15. But to any fellow dark skinned actresses who might be there, babes, we gotta keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Send in the tape. Post the video. Take that meeting. Keep going. Take that class. Keep going. No one will erase us unless we let them. They can try. But one thing about me, the message I'm trying to spread is, if you're delusional enough, how you gonna erase me when I keep coming back? They gonna be like, oh, here this girl go again. Yes, here I go again. Here I go again. And I will keep going back. I will keep coming back. And I will simply keep coming back. And that's the beautiful thing of a delusion. People want delusional people. They're like, fine, here, damn. Will that get you out of my face? And it's like, well, yes, but it's secretly only the beginning. You just don't know that. The fourth lesson I learned, or maybe fifth, I don't actually know where I'm at. Y'all know I'm just talking and doing makeup. But the fourth lesson I learned is you need to live in today a little bit more and stop worrying about what the future will look like. Because with the way the political climate is going, we don't know who's going to blow up who at any given time. So you need to worry a little bit more about today and just let every day be full. That does not always mean productive. Just full. If you need to have a day, but all you do is rewatch X-Men 97, that is a full day. Let your days be full. Let your days be motivated by what your heart has space for. Let me say that again, because I was looking for my eyebrow brush and I feel like that didn't really set. Let your days be full means let your days be motivated by whatever your heart has space for. There are days where your heart does not have the space to conquer the world. And there are days when it does. You let your day be full. And this year I learned by prioritizing full days, that has allowed for a sense of self, because I'm starting to come to terms with who I am naturally, not who I am by force. And that's obviously within all the responsibilities we have, work, friends, whatever it is that we had to pivot to focus on. And you know what I mean? That's all motivated within that. But sometimes there's this pressure where it's like, oh, I gotta be doing the most all the time. Maybe your day only has space to go to work, do everything you gotta do for work, and then come lay in bed and watch your favorite television show. Why would you condemn yourself for that? And then maybe you have a day. It's like, oh, I have a little more time today, and my heart also has a little bit more space today. So I'm gonna do bang, 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 and I've been meaning to send this email, I've been meaning to reach out to this person, I've been meaning to do that. Boom. But if every day can't be that, that means your heart doesn't have space for that every single day. Otherwise, you're overloading your heart. And I did that in year 25. I overloaded my heart, y'all. It was bad. And to the person I was back then, and therefore to all the people that I was operating to from that space, my bad, y'all. Because I was really operating with everybody and everything from that space where my heart was overloaded. And I was like, well, if I can, I gotta figure this pivot out here and do this. And then my heart's overloaded. So, I'm also breaking down, but I'm like, oh no, I gotta keep pushing. And now I'm lashing out. Now I'm lashing out internally. And if I lash out internally, it lashes. And I'm falling apart and giving myself no space. I was prioritizing everybody else. And in prioritizing everybody else, I was prioritizing nothing. Because in that time, I didn't have space for everybody else. So I'm giving them phantom grace. And they know it, and I know it. And nothing is coming from an authentic place at all. And all that's happening is I'm hurting myself and subsequently everybody else. You got to operate from where your heart is. And I actually promise you that will take you further in the end. Because this year, certain things I've achieved and things I'm very excited to announce in the year 2025. If and whenever I do get to announce them in year 2025, my God, it'd be taking so long to let me tell people things. And here's all of those things came from places of release. What does my heart want to do? And I pivoted that way. And that's how I found my pivots. And that's how I found my motivations. And that's how I found the tools to go. Because there's the will to survive, and then there's the tools to survive. And that's how I found the tools to endure. That's how I found the tools to keep going in this game. You know what I mean? Quick interlude, because if I don't find this lip stain to finish this lip, I'm gonna be so annoyed. So pause. Okay, I never do red. And to be honest, there's really no reason for me to be doing red, because the sweatshirt you're seeing is the sweatshirt I will be wearing out. I'm like, let me do a little red. But I want to do a red lip stain. I realize I have not been, I'm normally so much better at posting my makeups that I've been using. Foundation, Lancome, eyeshadow, Game Beauty. If you've never heard of Game Beauty, I think they make some of the best eyeshadows, and they are so available. And they kind of, the eyeshadows that come in one set are so good to travel that like I can take like 1 or 2 of these and I can be good for a while. So Game Beauty, Milani mascara, Juvia's Place blush contour, bronzer. Great, that's all my makeup. Okay, so don't say I don't tell y'all nothing. Anyways, this is a lip stain from Quo, glossy lip stain. It's a Korean brand, I believe. My friend Wit gave it to me. I think she gave it to me. Honestly, I don't even know where I got it from. But sometimes I like to just like literally, I mean, it's a lip stain. So like sometimes I like to put such a little amount and literally just do the smallest. Can you even see that? Oh, you cannot. Do the smallest stain of my lip. You cannot see it on camera. I'm like, what if I turn off this light? Can you see that? You can't. That's fine. But yeah, I do the smallest stain of just of my lips so that my lip vaguely looks red. I kind of hate a red lip. I got it. I wore a red lip to a premiere a little bit ago, and I was like, child, why did I do this? I hate, like, out of all the premiere looks I did, like, that was the one I hated the most. How can I make you see it? Because it's actually so pretty. Hold on. Boom. You see that? It's so subtle. It feels like nothing on the lip. It's a stain, so transfer proof. Okay, that was the influencer moment. Okay. Hey, the light went crazy for a second. Anyway, for the love of all that is good, celebrate your small wins, y'all. And honestly, pursue small wins. Pursue small wins. Do things that you may have viewed it as a small win, and you may have been like, but that's not, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And pursue it and go for it anyways. Do it. Pursue small wins. Because every big win I've gotten this year is from pursuing a smaller one. And by that, I mean not to undermine them, but more so, sometimes I think you get so in your head of what you think a win looks like. And this could be anything, right? And I think for me, I got so in my head. I'm talking 2023, Grace. If I go back to doing smaller projects now, people are gonna think it's because like I failed. And it's I look back on that mindset I had at that point, and I'm honestly so embarrassed by how my brain worked back then. And I'm grateful that version of me was forced to go home, sit down, and learn something. Really, truly. Because I think in doing so, not only has it brought me success, but also a community of people that I am grateful for, and I will be grateful for as long as I have breath. The only one putting all those judgments is you. And what I learned this year is it's like, baby girl, you are 26. You are so very much, I was so deeply in my era of learning, acting like it was my era of earn. Maybe that's social media, maybe that's like whatever, like you know, there's so many factors why we start to feel like we are owed whatever so early on. Oh my gosh, I didn't do highlight. But the skin. Okay. Sorry, y'all. ADHD is working overtime. There is so much left to learn. If you live life properly, in my opinion, if you live life correctly, you're gonna be learning a little bit till your dying day. Even when you are in your era of return. You know what I mean? There's still so much anyone could teach you. And I almost let ego stop me from learning so early on in my career by just like being like, ugh, whatever, I'm not interested in those kinds of opportunities. And I'm glad I had to haul my ass home, hum myself, and come back. Lesson number, who even really knows? I've honestly lost track of my lessons. So lesson number, whatever this one is. Mourn today, move tomorrow. Now, this does not apply to grief. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this don't apply to loss, deep, depressing breakup. This applies to moments of rejection. You didn't get that job interview. You didn't get that audition. You didn't get that promotion. You didn't get whatever. You have to feel it that day. Even when you tell people and people are like, it's going to be okay, you got to respond back and be like, yes, but today I'm hurt. You have to feel it because feelings demand to be felt. You have to feel it. You mourn today and do it in full and do it however you want to do it. And then tomorrow, you move. Too often, I found myself trying to get right to the move. So I'd be like, yeah, you know what? And I don't even care. I didn't even need like that. Last year, I applied to, and I'm not talking about auditions, I applied to over 500 jobs. I was just putting my name in any hat. I was applying to jobs. It didn't make no time. Just because I wasn't even thinking. I was like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep doing. I gotta keep doing. At no point did I clear my head. I just was like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. And then I crashed out. And you know, a crash out is normal. Everybody crashes out. But sometimes I think I'm like, man, if I just crashed out when it happened, I could have crashed out, cleared my head, and actually come up with a sensible thing. To be like, okay, you know what? I'm going spinning in circles. Let me make a call to this person. See if they can put me on. Instead, I'm just crashing out. I'm like, I gotta figure it out. And same with auditions. It's like I'll do a slurry of auditions and I'm like, oh no, I gotta get them. And it's like, okay, instead of feeling sad about it, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna be upset about it. I'm not gonna be upset about it because you know the next one's coming. Here we go. And then on the third like set of auditions, I don't get it, crash out. And now I have compounded 4 weeks of sadness and now I'm crashing out. Now I'm like, I'm done. This year I learned to let that go. This year, babe, I learned to mourn today, move tomorrow. Because then when the day comes tomorrow, my team will come back and they'd be like, there was one audition I don't want it so bad, and they didn't audition nobody. Like it wasn't even like I didn't get it. Like they just were like, no, we're only reading a group of A-listers for the part. I was gutted, and I allowed myself to crash out. That day that it happened, I crashed out on my close friends. I crashed out. And then by the next morning, my managers called me. They're like, hey, Grace. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Because I let my soul do whatever she needed to do so that she can wake up today free. So don't worry about it. I ain't got nothing for that. Wish them the best of luck. The moment I learned how to let my soul do everything she needed to do that day, so that she could wake up the next morning free, clear of mind, so that she knew what. It's like, okay, great. That's not happening. Clear ahead. What is happening? Okay, what is working out for us? What is a good thing in life? What are these things? You get so into like nothing's going right that it's almost insulting to the things and the people who are going right, where you're like, everything in my life sucks. And it's like, I've only been able to get there and I'm only continuing my journey in getting there because I allowed myself to mourn today. Because the thing is, the crash out will be smaller if you just do it right then, rather than building it up for 6, 7, 8 months, 10 months trying to be strong. Because you're going to crash out like I did, in 2023, where I had people worried about my ability to breathe and keep it living. I had people doing wellness checks because they were so worried about what was going to happen. Because I had been building up to such a severe crash out instead of letting the air out. I didn't let no air out. I was like, when the air came out, I had no air left. So mourn today, move tomorrow. So what was the point of all of this? The point is, you're going to see me more often talking about the various things I want to talk about, whether it's, I'm not even going to explain. because how many times have we done this? All I know is the point is you're going to see me more often in my space, to my loyal 40, to my friend who got me a little bit off my ass. Appreciate you. And if you got anything, and if you didn't get anything, and if you didn't sit through all these rambles, I get it. Because sometimes watching a girl go through her, do her makeup while ADHD beats her ass is not entertaining. So I get that. But if you did or did not get anything, the last thing I will leave you with is, because nothing is guaranteed, because tomorrow is not guaranteed, you owe it to yourself to be true to yourself. You owe it to yourself to keep trying. You owe it to yourself to fulfill your heart's desires. Things happen in life, good or bad. And we start to think like, I don't deserve this. What did I do to deserve this? Or, you know, again, good or bad, right? I don't deserve this. What did I do to deserve this? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I want you to think it's actually not about what you deserve. It's what you have. And because it's what you have, what do you do with what you have? It's not always easy to do anything with what you have. All you can do is ask for help, or all you can do is whatever that may be. Life isn't always trying to give you what you deserve. Life is just giving you something. So don't get stuck into a cycle of, oh, I deserve this and it's a negative, or, oh, I don't deserve this and it's a positive. It's just what you have. And I think in 2025, my goal for 2025 is to learn how to do more with what I have. If you enjoyed this video, whatever, because who knows when another one. I never promised you consistency. I just promised you that I'll be back. Anyways, my name is Grace, and this, as always, has been my space. Bye for now. Hopefully not forever.